Hey, everybody. Welcome to Rough Stuff, the podcast where we invite our friends on and make them embarrass themselves and relive their childhood humiliations. It's a ton of fun. I am your co-host, Bridget Greenberg, and I went to speech therapy for years because I could not say the word squirrel.
You did really good just then.
Thank you. I thought about it a lot. I would say scroll instead of squirrel.
Oh.
I couldn't make that, like, quir sound. Like, so world was also a problem for me. Like, it was a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm Sarah Griffith, and on more than one occasion, I have thrown up into my own nightstand.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Wow. Like drawer open, throw up, yeah.
And with us, you know her. She's been on this website that was known as Cracked. She's great. She's very, very funny. Actress Katie Willert is here with us.
Hi, everybody. Is this when I say my embarrassing
Yeah.
facts? I once made my grandmother drive me from Oklahoma City to Tulsa to find the Hanson brothers.
How far of a drive is that?
It's it's hours. It's a bit, yeah. And we drove there. We didn't know where they lived, but we started at a mall and asked around, and then they sent us to a smaller part of Tulsa, and we found a roller rink, and I said, the Hansons like to skate. We should go ask the roller rink. So we went in and asked some like teenagers, and they were like, oh yeah, they come in here all the time. Like normally when it's their brother or their sister's like birthdays, we do birthday parties here. And I was like, do you know where they live? And they said, yeah. And so they gave us like the cross streets, and we went out into the middle of this field, and there was this huge like compound that was surrounded by like trees and bushes. And I was like, that's it. That's where they live. And then we drive up, and then a helicopter comes from out of nowhere. And it probably had nothing to do with anything, but I was like, oh my God, they're going to shoot us for being on their property. So then we drove back to Oklahoma City from Tulsa I didn't get to meet the Hansons.
Wow. I am looking at you very incredulously right now because I thought you meant like they were doing a concert in this other city.
Nope.
So you were
I thought it was a meet and greet
I want to
too,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, their house. It's just where they lived.
You read in a J14 or whatever the fuck that's where they lived, and then you're like, cool, let's go.
Well, because I knew that was like they're very proud about being from Tulsa.
Yeah.
And my grandmother lived in Oklahoma City, and I'm like, well, if we're in the same state,
Well,
I
in
need to
Oklahoma,
try and
yeah.
do this. And God bless my grandmother, man, for being like, all right. And we got in her Cadillac and drove.
She was a huge Hanson fan too, though, right?
She supported me wholeheartedly.
Yeah. You listened to the whole CD on the way.
She was like, these girls are so pretty. Their hair is so beautiful. You gotta check
music,
this.
so their harmonies.
They were tight harmonies. I think that was one of the first concerts I ever saw. I was a little too young to remember, but I know I've seen Hanson.
I saw Hanson at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh.
Whoa, they played the bowl?
Mm-hmm. They did.
have
Was that recently?
No, that was when I was like 8 or 9.
Okay.
And my friends all had like their parents like went all out, and so they were like up in the the boxes where they have like a little table, and then I was in U or V up in the back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And had binoculars. But my
But
friend
it was still great.
Zach, I think it was Zach or maybe it was Isaac, threw their water bottle. And then it like flew off the stage, and my friend Nikki grabbed it and had put the water bottle in a plastic bag and had it hanging on the door of her closet for like years.
You can clone them.
Oh, we could clone.
You could clone them.
Clone the Hansons.
They all have so many children already that I think they don't need
true.
to be cloned anymore. We don't need to pass their genetic material.
It's funny to imagine a bunch of 8-year-olds in the boxes at the Hollywood Bowl with like their charcuterie board and like a glass of wine and like those little plastic cups. Like, the Hanson concert's so nice this evening. The weather was perfect for this.
I grew up in Santa Monica, so that,
So that is exactly what happened.
That should tell you something.
Right.
That is exactly what happened. But growing up in Santa Monica, tell us what was a young Katie Willert like? What was the awkward period in your life?
So I was born in San Diego, and then the winter break of kindergarten, my mom and I moved up to LA because she worked for American Express.
Yeah.
And they moved her up there, and so I first went to John Muir Elementary in Venice, and then we moved to another part of Santa Monica, and then I went to Franklin Elementary, which
shout out to these
shout
schools.
out to Franklin Elementary, which was actually like a really great elementary school, and I like think back on my time there fondly.
Oh, wow.
Shout out.
Wow.
Yeah, on Montana, you can drive past it. It used to be pink; it is now painted white.
Oh, that's
Downgrade.
And then,
went downhill.
And then I lived in Santa Monica through 6th grade, and then we moved back to San Diego, and I was there for the second half of middle school and high school and college. But I moved around a lot, so
yeah, you were the moving kid. Yeah,
I didn't ever have more than like 4 years at a certain school. Like,
yeah,
it's so and moving schools to a new school in a new city in the 7th, right before the 7th grade.
That's rough.
Yeah, I was just thinking, you must have not had like any friends, actually.
I'm a pretty like friendly individual, and I can make friends pretty easily.
Yeah.
But when I moved back to San Diego and went to Muirlands, which is a piece of shit middle school.
Okay, shout out
to Muirlands in La Jolla, California. Yeah. I ate alone for like the first couple months, and that's how rough it was.
That's rough. That's
not fun. But I always found a group of like girls that I felt I bonded with, and like the group that I was with in elementary school was super close. And then, I met people obviously through the years, but I was a competitive dancer for my entire childhood.
That helps.
Yeah.
It helps and, hurts.
Yeah, it kept me busy.
Yeah.
And so I like to perform, and but there was always something a little off, and I always just assumed everybody was hanging out with me out of like pity. So that was like the anxiety that I carried with me as a kid, like clickiness and stuff like that.
Did people remember you when you went back to San Diego?
Not really, because I went to school in a different district from when I went to kindergarten.
Yeah.
But I ended up being in a dance class with a girl that I did go to kindergarten with when I came back in the 7th grade.
There you go.
And she was very nice, and we did ballet together.
Good for you, because that sounds so hard.
Yeah.
It was.
I would not want to meet new people at 13. Like at 13, it's like, look, y'all are ride or die. This is it.
It's the worst time. I feel like your friends are at 13 are like, well, you were born together, so you'll stick this out.
Exactly.
And then we'll see what happens when you get into high school.
Our friends, so yeah.
I think I did the math, and I've lived in 22 places.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
In my life, from birth to now. So like, I don't know if anybody remembers, this is a very deep, weird reference, but when the Arcade Fire came out with the album The Suburbs, they created this like virtual experience that you could do online where you put in your childhood home, and it made it like this interactive music video.
That was super cool.
With the Google video, and it was like, what's the address of your like childhood home? And
like,
I remember being like, what do I count? Like, what do I count as my child? Like, I don't, I guess it's the one in Santa Monica.
Yeah,
because that's where the chunk of my childhood was.
I have that problem too, because I moved around within Miami a lot. So like every time it's like, what's the name of your street that you grew up on? I'm like, well, there are 5 of them, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's fun. Moving is fun as a kid, kind of. I mean, those are drastic moves.
Yeah.
So that's scary. But like, you get a new house. That's cool.
Yeah, but it is that sort of thing of like, I think I always felt like, oh, when I move again, I can have a new start. I can be, they don't know I'm odd. They don't know my past. They don't like what I'm like. They don't have those embarrassing moments.
Right. It's very strong, independent female of you.
Did you
I could start anew?
Did you
new
try
school, new city,
new you,
new hair,
new grade,
new haircut?
Yeah, I was gonna. Did you like try on different things when you went to different school?
No, but it was interesting because in the 8th grade, my mom started dating a guy who essentially wanted to like buy my love because I wasn't really like into him all that much. And so he bought me like CDs and clothes and stuff like that.
Nice.
And suddenly, well, in La Jolla, it's a really wealthy neighborhood. And so like my mom and I rented an apartment, but like there's a lot of money in Santa Monica, or in Santa Monica, but also in La Jolla. And suddenly all the popular girls started talking to me. And so then I became friends with the popular girls in the first part of 8th grade.
You mean girl.
Yes,
you totally mean girls.
Yeah,
I did. And then I stopped doing all my schoolwork, which was like not like me. I was just like, I just don't want to do my work anymore.
Well, when you're rich and popular, like you don't have to work. Like
no,
that's the
not
rules.
At all.
That's why people get rich and popular.
And then my mom got my progress report and was like, "What the fuck?" Because I never gotten like under a B in my entire life.
Yeah.
And so then I was grounded and she met with each one of my teachers and was like, "What can Katie do to bring her grades grades up by the end of the year. So I buckled down. And then when I went to high school and my mom and that guy broke up and I didn't have the cool things anymore, like none of them talked to me.
Oh,
wow.
Assholes.
But you got smarter?
Well, yeah, I embraced the fact that like I like to know things and I am a diligent
huge
worker.
nerd.
Yeah. And like, I'm okay. I'm more okay with that now. I think than I was.
What self-confidence to have.
It was
it was out of necessity.
Well, it also happened that like when I started high school, they had like drama. I started doing theater, and then they had an improv team, and I started doing that when I was like 14.
Oh,
and so once I started improvising, I was like, okay, everybody's fucking weird. Like, I'm not, and you know.
What was 14-year-old improv like?
Oh my God.
It was short form. It was like comedy sports, and there's a theater in San Diego called NCT, National Comedy Theater, which is an offshoot of theater sports, comedy sports, and I mean they would send a performer to teach us, and then we'd have shows once a month that were fundraisers for the drama club.
That's cool.
We used to fill the auditorium.
Oh man,
I bet.
Southern California is so much cooler with that than anywhere else, because I definitely did that and it was not good or cool.
Yeah, I mean I feel like it's high school improv, so it's like probably not the best, but we were pretty.
No, that sounds more legit than like the school nurse's daughter being like, yeah, I liked to act once. They taught us improv.
Exactly. Like high school improv, my memories of it was really not even improv. It was just more like, how many funny one-liners can we say in like a single scene? Like I remember we started one and it was like, woo, let me tell you, it is so hard being a Beyonce drag queen, and like, where do we go from that? I don't know, and I don't remember. It was just like literally start the scene and just say like the funniest and like most ridiculous thing you can say, so all your fucking friends can laugh, and then just be like, okay, freeze, tag, you're out. Let me say, it's like it's terrible improv.
I very much like I was one of the only girls on the team. I think there were 3 of us pretty consistently.
That sounds still right.
Yes,
and it was just like fun and fast paced, and I felt like I could express myself in a way that was received well by others, because the way I expressed myself wasn't always received well.
Sure.
Do you mind if we dive into that a little bit?
Well, that was one of my stories, embarrassing stories. What's funny about it is it's retroactively embarrassing.
Oh, that's the best.
The worst.
Yeah.
So, as a kid, and I brought the DVDs because I was hoping maybe we could rip the thing I'm talking about and put it on the internet.
Oh, I hoped so.
So in the 3rd grade, we had to do biography projects at Franklin Elementary School where you researched a person and then you dressed up like them. Oh, one of them is not this one.
Oh my God, we have like...
That's me.
A visual aid. Yeah, for the listeners, we have literally in our hands two
my mom
DVDs.
2 copies.
My mom got the camcorder tape and had it put to a DVD. But we had to do a 10-minute project where we dressed up like the person we were doing the biography on, and then say our life story in the first person.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea for kids to do.
So like my friend Sarah was Sacagawea. There was like a Ben Franklin, bunch of like historical figures, and I was in love with Michael Jackson.
Oh,
so deeply.
That explains the white gloves I am seeing in this picture of you.
Oh my God.
So I did the research, and I was just like so excited, and I had these little black jazz pants and a white V-neck t-shirt. I put my hair in a ponytail, and I had a black fedora and 1 white glove, and my mom bought me loafers and resold them with leather so that I could moonwalk.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
And I sat and I sat and I watched on VHS over and over again the Motown 25th anniversary concert, where he did Billie Jean and debuted the Moonwalk for the first time. And so I memorized the whole dance.
Amazing.
And I so effusively gave this like presentation where I was just like, talking about my life in the first person, and then there's a bit where I go, I just need to pause for a second. And I'm like, I just like, Michael made me want to dance. And I was just so like just inspired by Michael Jackson. I even did, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but on Rosie O'Donnell, on her talk show, when she used to talk about Tom Cruise, because she had a huge crush on him.
Yes. Right.
She'd press a button and it would go, Tommy, can you hear me? And I stopped my performance to be like, Michael, can you hear me?
Oh,
like,
wow.
just so like effusive and then
That's the most.
then I turned on the music. So this was like supposed to be a 10-minute presentation. I take the full 10 minutes for the life of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And then
You ran the light.
Then I pressed the play button.
Amazing.
So it's like
Jesus
4
Christ.
minutes of song,
Yes.
3.5 minutes
Yes.
of song.
Yeah.
And I start doing it. At one point, the bell goes off because it's like literally the end of school. And I'm dancing and putting my whole heart into it. And then I watched the DVD recently because my mom had gotten all the tapes transferred to DVDs.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
And I look, and everybody is mercilessly making fun of me.
Oh.
Like everybody who you can see like on the side and in the front are whispering to each other and laughing and like pointing.
Jesus.
And I just like couldn't even see it.
No, you were
right?
in
No,
Michael's
you
world.
were so in character.
I couldn't. And I like watched this video and I'm just like, I love that little girl.
Yeah. Oh my
And
God.
I think about like what my tolerance for like embarrassment or like trying to look cool is now. And what's interesting is cut to probably, I think the next year, there was this contest where like they had a theme and you could do a painting or a drawing or a sculpture or write a short story or a poem or a song. And then they'd put them all up in the cafeteria and like you could all, whatever. I decided to write a song and record it.
Amazing. Yes.
And then I was like, I want to play this for my class. Nobody asked for that. But I was like, I want to play it for my class. And I put it in the tape player and I started playing it. And I can feel it, the embarrassment in my cheeks out to my ears, like as this is sitting there, like listening to my voice and watching everybody looking at me in my class and like mocking me.
Oh.
And I go, what happened? What happened between the year before when I could stand up and do the Michael Jackson thing and be so proud of myself and be so like not giving a fuck? And then that when I realized I should be ashamed for like being myself.
Oof. Yeah.
And that's a thing that like I am still actively working to like
try to understand the flip.
Yeah, it's called the fall. You had a taste of the forbidden fruit and now you feel shame.
Yeah.
I'm gonna unpack this because I think I understand what happened here, and I don't think it's necessarily a change in your self-esteem more than the delivery system of what happened. Because while you were dancing in front of the class, you were in the zone. You knew exactly what happened. But
when I'm sitting listening
to yourself,
Yeah.
you're out of the moment and you're with everybody else hearing this as a third party.
That is a fair assessment. And to be honest, from that point forward, I kept it.
Yeah.
And and that's like what I'm trying to do is let my light shine as brightly as was intended. Like not dim my shine.
Yes.
Because I'm not everybody's cup of tea, which is fine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But like not to
No,
feel bad about my soul.
Right, and your SoundCloud link where we can find this song.
Oh yeah, I'll if I can
put it in
find
the show
it.
notes.
I still remember the lyrics.
Oh.
Oh, if I could fly, I would fly so high. Wouldn't it be great?
Oh.
Yep.
That's nice. I think that's like Sugar Ray, right?
Similar. I probably was listening to a lot of Sugar Ray at the time.
What age did like that gap take place?
It was 3rd and 4th grade because I was in a 3-4 multi-age. I had like the same teacher 2 years in a row.
Okay.
I have to say, like, we did standardized testing in Texas. I mean, every state does it, but like in Texas, it's like they pretty much only care about the standardized testing. And so you start standardized testing, I think, in 3rd grade. And then like 4th grade, you do more. And my 3rd grade teachers organized like this. It was essentially a conga line and like a dance and like a cheer that the 3rd graders were going to put together and do for the 4th graders, like go into their class and be like, do the test, bubble in the right answers. Everybody do your best, work hard, take the test. I don't know the fuck. And so like
you definitely know that. You didn't make that up. There's no way you made that up.
It was like, I don't know. It was a weird time. And so like their idea was we're going to rehearse this, and literally we would go into the 4th graders' classrooms and like the teacher would be like, and now the 3rd graders have something for the 4th graders. And we would do that, and like it literally was a conga line that we walked through the desk and we rehearsed it, and I was like the leader of this. I was like, yeah, everybody take the test, bubble in your answers, study hard, work hard, you could do it. Like whatever the fuck it was.
The cha-cha cha-cha slide of standardized
Pretty
testing.
much, yeah. Like the Mambo number 5 of testing, a little bit of bubbling in my life. So like
You should make these songs. If these are all coming off the top of the head.
I'm killing it right now. I'm an excellent freestyle 3rd grade songwriter. So I was like the line leader in these rehearsals. I was like so ready to do it. And then I got sick and I couldn't do it the day that they went and did it for the 4th graders. And then the next year, we asked, like, hey, are the 3rd graders going to dance for us this year? And, like, no. And then, like, retrospectively, everyone was like, Sarah, remember, you were so excited to do that. I bet you were so disappointed that you couldn't go. And I was like, no, I wasn't excited about it because it was in that moment that I realized that is so fucking embarrassing to get kids who are essentially the same age to, like, put on a, like, song and dance for other kids their age.
I don't know why they shouldn't have made you do that.
I'm stoked now that I didn't actually do that because I imagine me getting into the 4th grade classroom and immediately being like, oh, actually, this is embarrassing as hell.
Yeah.
Like, this sucks. Why did they think that would be like a fun thing to do?
Oh, boy, I don't know.
But it's between 3rd and 4th grade is when I realized, like, I should be embarrassed about things.
Yeah.
There are some things that should be locked away in my shame closet of my heart.
It's all like just one. I feel like they did that on purpose. Like, oh, these 3rd graders need to learn what shame is.
That was for the fucking teachers for sure. That was for them and no one else.
There's so many things that I wonder, like, about adults who have to take care of children. That do they do that just because they think it's funny? I remember this is not anything like that, but like I will never know if my father did this to embarrass me because he thought it was funny or he actually is that dorky. But he dropped me off at school one day and I'm walking off and he rolls down his car window and it's classic movie dad thing where he rolls down the window and shouts, Bridget, love you, have a good day at school, and drives away and everyone just looks at me and I was like, he had to have done that on purpose.
Yeah.
There's no way he didn't know.
Yeah, if you watched any movie from like 1980 on, like that's an embarrassing thing to do to your child.
I just feel like there's no way they don't know. You shouldn't have a 12-year-old perform.
Yeah.
It's just bad news. It's never going to be great. I remember those, like, they had everyone sing rallies and not a singer. Tried my damn hardest. Like, that was probably the last time I tried to sing. And the person next to me was like, hey, Bridget, are you tone deaf? And like, so seriously. And I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess I am. Yeah, totally. Yeah,
but remember doing like pageants for like holidays and stuff, and they just basically had everyone sing like not a Christmas carol per se, but like a politically, socially neutral winter song that was just kind of like, we would do this in Houston.
A winter solstice celebration.
Exactly. We would do this in Houston, and I remember one, because my mom still sings it, it went, it's cold outside, I'm freezing, and it's like, it is 80 degrees. Like, we all know this is really like Christmas, but we have like one Jewish kid in our class, so we can't full on like sing like Santa Claus coming to town or whatever, so we would sing like these like winter-y kind of songs, but like we're all wearing shorts and t-shirts because it's not fucking cold outside.
Do you know what's so funny is there's like a random SNL sketch from I think when Kristen Wiig like first started where she played Megan Mullally and they were doing the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and I will always remember it because it's about they're like, we want to be more inclusive and politically correct, and so they changed all the words to all the Christmas songs, and I will always remember random infant religiously neutral sleep in comfortable beds. Like, I'll always remember that lyric.
That is so funny because I went to a school that was 90% Jewish kids, and they made us do like a winter song ceremony where like we sang Santa Claus is coming to town and the 12 days of Christmas.
Right.
And each grade had to do like a different, like, whatever grade you were in, you had to like stand up and sing that part. And all of us were Jewish except for like 5 kids.
We did one year do like a Hanukkah song, like specifically, because the year before we did like a straight up
those
Christmas
great Hanukkah songs.
Right, no, this one was like, light the candle, spin the dreidel, celebrate our blessings tonight. Like a bunch of goys like, yay, Hanukkah. And I think that was one of the years where like Hanukkah was like wildly far away from Christmas. Like sometimes like the gap is like weeks.
Yeah, sometimes it's in November. It's very strange.
It's like happy Thanksgiving. Also, happy second night of Hanukkah.
Enjoy.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. They just really want kids to perform, which I mean is good because like there is something to say that like I think having your kids perform like gives them a little bit of agency and responsibility and like who knows, like for some people, like I think for like you and I, it's like, oh, I do like performing and this is something that I can do, but for the most part, it's just so embarrassing.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed performing for my 5th grade talent show. I did a Dance to Believe by Cher.
Amazing.
And I wore...
Were you in drag?
No, I thought I looked fly. I wore baggy, like, carpenter jeans. So they had, like, the baggy legs and a black sports bra.
Cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I forgot my dance halfway through and just started doing a lot of pas de bourrées. Like, I picked it up, you know? Like, I was like, okay, cool, we're just going to do some spins. And, like, but whatever I had memorized was not... It went out the window, and I was just like, we're just going to feel the music.
I really like your taste of music as an elementary schooler. Like, you've had some, like, MJ and Cher. I really like
And then we throw it back to Hanson.
Yes.
Hanson, of course.
You know, well, it's my mom and I, she listened to a lot of The Supremes. She listened to a lot of Elvis. Listened to a lot of Patsy Cline. And I grew up listening to K-Earth 101 when K-Earth 101 was the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Oh.
Now it is the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Like, it's the oldies, LA's oldies station.
You're
but
right.
as I've gotten older,
changed. Yeah, the oldies.
It has shifted. But yeah, when I was a kid, it was 50s, 60s, 70s.
I mean, that's great because my mom listened to a lot of Bob Seger. So
always, and then my dad listened to a lot of like Zeppelin, and so then I listened to that, and then also really got into hip hop in like high school.
Oh, didn't we all?
Yeah, and so it just like
didn't we all? Yeah,
it's all still there. My musical.
Yeah, the inappropriately into hip hop for white kids phase that happens late middle school, early high school.
I had a high school dance where I swear to God they played In the Club by 50 Cent maybe like 8 times in the night.
Yeah. Most middle school to early high school parties were mostly just G-Unit songs.
Yeah, I could probably put
like
together...
deep cut G-Unit.
I could probably put together a playlist of every song I heard every single weekend when I was like going to mitzvahs or like going to like 8th grade dances and stuff. It's like I could like probably recreate it song for song because it was like... That was when Lil Jon was like really popular and the Yin Yang Twins had come out.
To the windows, to the walls.
Yeah, and then plus we had like all of our Houston rap songs too, which like I thought everyone knew, and then I got to college and
no one.
And people were like, "Excuse me." I remember, I don't know, like some people know this song, but like "Wanna Be a Baller, Shot Caller."
Yeah.
I was like saying that in college all the time, like, "Damn, dude, that's baller, shot collar," and you know, like I would say that, and then I played that song.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it's not at all. But I was kind of saying it more like in an awkward, ironic way.
Yeah.
I say now. But like I played that song and my friend's like, dude, Sarah, baller, shot, that's what you always say. I'm like, yeah, you fucking morons. I got it from the song. They also thought that I coined the phrase the champagne of beers because they had never had Miller High Life before. And so I bought Miller High Life. I'm like, oh, the champagne of beers. And they saw an ad. They're like, Sarah, holy shit, they must have seen
you are a marketing genius.
To them, I know. I was like, hey guys, got milk? Like, it really shaped my opinion of the Midwest when I went to college. They're like, oh, you people like haven't left the house.
Yeah, you get everything. They get everything 2 years, like, or a year and a half behind everybody.
Yeah. So your grandma lives in Oklahoma. Are you like? Is that where your family's from, or did you ever live in the OK?
No, I've lived in Southern California my entire life, literally between San Diego and Los Angeles, just back and forth and back and forth.
Good for you.
Yeah, there's no reason to be anywhere else.
I've been in LA almost 9 years come Christmas, but my dad's family's from Oklahoma, and my mom's family is from Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Oh, geez, Louise.
So
were you always like the cool cousin?
No. Also because I was
hard no.
I'll tell you why is because I was an only child, and of the cousins in my like my lineage,
Yeah.
I was the youngest by 30 years. So when we'd have our like family reunions, they would take photos of each generation. And so the photo of mine is like me and 8 adults.
Oh my God.
Because my mom's mom was the youngest. And she only had 2 kids, and the oldest had kids, and then they had kids. So by the time it was like, if you put my whole like level of cousins together, I was very, very young.
Wow. It is funnier, though, to picture you in a photo just by yourself.
I have to find it, and I'll have my mom send it.
Oh, since you've given us such great visuals.
I know. I feel like there's got to be visual aids. And I grew up as an only child, and then my dad and my stepmom had my brother is 8 and my sister is 6. And then my mom had a daughter before I was born who is 45, 48. So I'm technically a middle child, but I grew up as an only child.
Wow.
But yeah. So I spent a lot of time by myself.
Did you, because my dad was kind of like that, so I would just meet these people like in my grandmother's house who'd be like, hey, this is your cousin Michael, and it's some like 80-year-old man who I've never met who was like, hey Gretchen, nice to meet you. And I was like, who are you talking to?
Yeah, my mom's brother, my uncle, had his kids are like 8 and 11, 8 and 10. So and I was the only cousin on my dad's side until I was 16. So Christmases were like just the best when I was a child, because I got all the presents because I was the only grandchild for a really, really long time.
Wow.
Man.
Nice.
Yeah. And then by the time my cousins came, I was already like in high school or whatever, and on my way.
Oh man, siblings suck.
Yeah, I like my brother and my sister, and I actually haven't met. I've chatted with my half-sister, my older half-sister. But
wow, you've got such an interesting and like large kind of like family tree.
It's
very like a family garden, really.
There is nothing traditional about my family in terms of how things are done.
Well, I think traditional family things that are done the way is overrated. So congratulations, you've made it out of that.
Thank you.
I mean, and you had some great embarrassing childhood moments along the way, so I think it worked out anyway.
It's a solid.
Are they all like performing based? Like when you look back on like.
I thought of a thing that was less like embarrassing, more like mortifying, my greatest fear realized.
Ooh.
I was at a dance competition, the Tremaine dance competition, which was like a big deal competition convention in Southern California.
Right.
My dance team was there. We killed it. Dance for kids all the time, every time. And the way a competition and convention works is the convention is like Saturday and Sunday during the day. You took classes with these like really great dancers, and then you'd compete at night. And so the convention, the big deal was that Wade Robeson was going to be there, and Wade Robeson was NSYNC's choreographer.
Oh.
And he taught a class every year at Tremaine, and it was like the one that everybody was there for.
Oh yeah, you got to learn how to do that like elbow popping kind of.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
I think it was that the year that it was to Live in La Vida Loca? I can't remember. Anyways.
Sounds right.
We were in the class like earlier in the day, and they broke for lunch. And so our whole like team is walking out to lunch, and the gaggle, like the big group led by this girl named Carly, who was like 2 years older than everyone, but was in our level of dance, which like goes to show you maybe the vibe that she had going on. Big fish, small pond type situation.
The fact that her name is Carly says a lot.
I can't remember her last name for the life of me, and I want to because I want to look her up and see what she's up to right now. She was with like
still on that dance team.
Yeah,
probably. She was walking with a group of all the girls, and then the parents were walking, and I like had I think got some water or had like picked something up, so I was like behind everybody, and I was running to catch them. I'm like, hey guys, hey wait for me, and she stops and she turns around and she goes, no one wants to hang out with you, Katie.
Whoa!
And what? I burst into tears. And my mom went up to her and grabbed her like by the arm and said, you are a terrible little girl.
Oh my God.
And I didn't eat lunch. I couldn't go I was too embarrassed. Just weeping.
My God, what a bitch.
Yeah, I hope she's miserable. I hope she had some sort of like
Also,
comeuppance for that at some point in her life.
Also, your mom sounds like a real hero.
My mom
is. All these stories.
My mom's the shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I didn't. I was too like upset to go do Wade's class.
Oh.
Because I couldn't stop crying.
Man, that is top-notch bullying.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, that is macro-aggression bullying. That's not even like pretending.
It's not even like nuanced or like passive-aggressive or like ghosting somebody. It's like straight up like, I'm going to say something that's going to be incredibly hurtful to you.
Yeah, that is something you only get from dance team.
Yeah,
I feel like
my sister is about 2 years younger than me, and she did dance. And I had to go to a lot of those meetups or what are the conventions, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why my mother thought it would be a good idea for me to just like, because I wasn't dancing, just like
sit
there all goddamn day long and listen to these girls like empty a bottle of hairspray for their ponytail.
Yep.
And oh my God.
I wouldn't want anyone to do that.
And like her
awful.
dance teacher and like some of the girls that were there, like to this day, like I don't want to speak for my sister, but like maybe a source of trauma, like those girls suck. A lot of those girls suck.
But see, I think I think it's dance. What baseball, soccer. I feel like just any place there's gonna just be that dynamic when you're dealing with a bunch of young girls who are, 8, 9, and 10 to 11. That age range is just like so trying to figure out who you are, trying to fit in
and be good at a thing
brings the worst out of like anybody.
True.
But yeah, that was oh boy.
No, that you said that and made me feel bad because I've mentioned it so many times and I feel so much guilt about bullying a girl on my basketball team, and I was not that mean. I
was gonna say, are you about to tell us that you straight up told someone to their face that nobody wanted to hang out with you?
I've said some very mean things, but I don't think I had it in me to be that mean.
Right. I mean, that's that thing where I just felt like shit.
There's something in you to be able to say that to a person.
Yeah.
That, like, as mean as I was to poor Marjorie.
Marjorie, shout out. Marjorie.
Shout out.
I feel like I've apologized to her on the show every time.
Yeah.
You got to have something else in you to, like, be able to look a person in the eye and be like, hey,
there must be something going on at
like,
home, right?
Yeah,
like, there must be some origin story to that.
I mean, for me, no, but...
But I always assume that's, when someone behaves towards me in a way that, like, hurts my feelings... I now know.
Yeah, but
9
at 14,
times out of 10, it's got absolutely nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
but like
at 14,
she took my deepest fear in my head,
right?
Yeah,
and said it to me.
Oh, that's a thing that only 14-year-old girls can do, and they're so good at it.
I did have like a secondhand moment of that, but it wasn't my fault, and it is embarrassing. I just remembered this. God, I feel so terrible about this. It was like the end of the year. I think we were in middle school, like end of the year, 6th grade, whatever. We were all at the park. And there was this girl who had kind of been a hanger-oner on me for like the past few weeks. And so I was with my like regular like circle of friends. And they were like, I can't remember this girl's name, but let's call her like Kate or something. I don't want to say Kate. Madeline, there we go. Maddie. No, Maddie. No. Sophie is someone I don't know anyone named Sophie. Cool. So I'm going to go with Sophie.
Solid.
So like Sophie was like a hanger on her. And so like my friends were like, oh my God, like Sophie's kind of been like following you. I'm like, dude, I know. And I was kind of like bitching about like, she's like always on top of me. And it's like, dude, can you give me like some air? Like she's annoying me, like whatever, like just kind of like venting to friends. And then one of my friends who I'm not going to name was like, well, I can talk to her if you want. And I was like, I mean, like,
don't ever let your friend talk for you. And I don't
think I responded with like a hard yes or no, but like in my mind, I definitely remember thinking like, I don't want you to do that. And basically this girl went up to Sophie and was like, hey, Sarah thinks you're really annoying and doesn't want you to hang out with her anymore. And like came right back to me and was like, don't worry, I took care of it. Like, why would you do that? And so I went up to Sophie, I was like, hey, like I heard like, and I want to make it. And she was like, no, it's fine. Like, it's very clear like what's happening here. And like walked away. And I was like, whoa, holy shit, I accidentally
Sophie ended up with the upper hand though. Like that's a cool move.
She walked away like,
oh no, her feelings were definitely
I'm going to cry later, but for right now, I'm going to have
she definitely gave me like the married couple, like, it's fine, like, I'm just going to go to sleep, like kind of attitude, like cold shoulder. And I was like, holy shit. And then I went over to my other friend. I was like, dude, why the fuck would you do that? Like, that is the meanest thing you could ever possibly think to do. Yeah, never, if you are a teenager, if you're a young person listening, never let one of your friends speak on your behalf. They are going to say the worst and dumbest possible thing they could ever possibly say.
Yeah.
Because they have no dog in this fight. They could say anything. I could go up to you and be like, hey, by the way, Bridget thinks that you were a terrible guest in this podcast. It's like, no, nobody thought that, but like I could just say that because I don't have any responsibility for it.
There's nothing worse than a 14-year-old girl. Like, there's no human.
They're a menace.
You're just like so angry and just have nothing to do about it. So you're just like passive aggressively mean, or just mean in any way you can like muster yourself to be mean.
I think that's also when like you get into like TV shows and like media where like the mean girl trope is like kind of like celebrated almost, and or at least like I think when we were growing up that was definitely like books like Gossip Girl were like really popular.
The Click.
I really
Click.
loved Gossip. I'm not gonna
of course.
lie.
I read the shit out of these
like
books.
Triscuits. I just consumed those books nonstop.
Oh yeah,
the one where they went to the islands was really fun. I remember that.
Oh my god, the glamorous
Serena
lives of
wearing
those.
like a white linen like sheet that because they would always say brand names.
I was just about to say they would always identify like what these girls were wearing, as if 14-year-old 4'9" Sarah's gonna be like, yes, a Mydunian bird purse.
The Nicole girls, I always remember they were the French. They went to the French boarding school and they wore their Catholic outfits kind of slutty. It was like always like kind of the vibe of that.
They were the worst things to put out.
I know.
For kids.
To absorb.
I think we've gotten better about like media for young women these days.
I don't know. Do you guys watch Riverdale?
I know you do, so shut up. What are you talking about? I don't know if you've seen Riverdale. Like you're not eating a hand.
I've seen
all of it, and I watch it every week, and Riverdale's great. But man, the character that plays Veronica dresses better as a 16-year-old to high school than I ever have in my life. She wears like full business dresses, and it's like I go to work every day and I don't wear that. Like
I don't even wear makeup most days.
Cheryl Blossom for me is
yes.
like,
yes, wow,
holy shit.
She's the best.
I'm just like, you're like the perfect. But you know what's so interesting is like I look at her body and I'm like, oh,
she looks like Jessica Rabbit.
But I go like, no, like when I was a kid, all of the women on every show I watched were rail thin.
Yeah.
And I just like was very aware of like, oh, she looks like just like not she just right there.
Yeah.
It's like an individual, and I was like, wow, this is a weird thing. Like
Cheryl's cool.
I think about all of my I was watching and absorbing, and through that. Like always seeing people who are mega thin.
Oh yeah, Gossip Girl, the show certainly messed me up. Seeing Blake Lively and Leighton Meester and being like, they're my age.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. No one.
I have a developmental problem.
Yeah. No one tipped me off that these people were in their 20s. Like I never got that hint until like way late. I think I was watching Glee and I was like, I know for a fact Lea Michele was on Broadway like 3 years ago. So like I now the smoke and mirrors are gone and I know these people are full-fledged adults. Yeah. I'm okay. And I'm sorry that I just had to expose myself for watching Glee, but it's true. I watched the hell out of Glee.
Watch whatever you want.
Yeah.
She watches Riverdale.
I am a grown woman and I watch Riverdale.
But you know what? I don't watch Riverdale, but I do like reading the synopses of like what I missed because I read the comics.
Oh, it's crazy.
And it's like, whoa, what the fuck? They're in jail? Like, spoilers for Riverdale. Sorry. I don't know who's in jail. I just know someone's in jail.
Oh, yeah. The show is not boring. There are murders and like cults, and it is not what you think it is.
Oh, the CW, man. Cranking out like some top tier what the fuck TV. I love it.
Just ruining 14-year-old girls forever.
The other thing though that I think about with like all the teen media is like what I used to wear. Like I remember wearing to orientation my senior year of high school. I wore Frankie B tight pinstripe pants that were like brown with like an orange pinstripe and belled legs.
Cool. Yes.
The zipper was a half an inch.
Yes.
Like they were so low. And I wore this black tight tank top, just cleavage, and then like wedges with like patchwork leather wedges, and I was like, I am 17 years old. Like,
this kind of sounds fly. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I look jamming, but I was underage.
It was not appropriate.
That was not inappropriate. That I couldn't sit without my whole ass being out. Like you just physically can't.
The kind
do
of
that.
pants that you kind of scar your belly from the zipper.
There's a line right there always.
Oh man,
right.
Yeah, because that early 2000s, the low-rise jean was really in, and
remember when it was the low-rise jean and the visible G-string on top of the hip?
Britney Spears.
That was Britney's problem.
Yeah, that was her. That was Britney's problem.
Britney's problem. Britney cleaned that up, After 07, 08, she cleaned that up.
Yes.
No, I was just such a tomboy and hated shopping and would have a breakdown every time I went shopping because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to be a girl, and just start crying.
Oh, I don't want to tell you the most recent time that I full on cried in the dressing room with my mom.
3 weeks ago.
It honestly was sooner than you would have imagined.
Yeah, that was most of my childhood shopping because my mom worked in the fashion industry, so it was
in Miami too. That's got to be a lot.
Yeah. So she would just dress me, but she would dress me like the 40-year-old woman she was, dressing a 14-year-old. So I would go to parties in cardigans. And, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. She did her best, but I wasn't. I was also very stubborn about what I would and wouldn't wear.
Right.
Because I had to protect my brand as a tomboy. It was very it was very dear to me.
I'm not gonna put on a dress. What are you kidding me?
It would. Here's the thing, and I still somewhat feel this way. It would be jarring if I walked in here in a dress, in a summer dress.
I have to say,
it would be jarring.
If I've ever, outside of Vegas, I don't think I've ever seen you in a skirt.
Yeah, that's probably true. It would be jarring. Everyone would be like, "What are you trying something new today?"
Yeah.
Did you lose a bet?
Yeah,
we would be like Quakers if you walked in with a skirt ooh, Bridget's ankles.
It would be weird. Look at her knees.
Yeah. No, I'm currently in a full habit. But yeah, it's still a rep. It's hard to break out of the 14-year-old mold, and then these shows are no, you got to grow 8 feet and be a grown woman.
Yeah, have a full-grown woman's body.
Yeah,
wasn't happening for me.
And a full hair and makeup team.
Yep.
To help fix whatever the fuck is on top of your head. You ugly little girl.
Yeah, that middle part that I was so sure was working for me.
Hell yeah. I actually. I don't know if what time-wise we're looking at, but I had another embarrassing story that is in the time period of teen girl.
Oh, please.
It is not performance related.
Oh, go for it.
So, okay, my mom would travel for work, and I would stay with my friend's parents, and sometimes I would stay with this girl named Alicia who lived across the street from my elementary school. And prior to this, I had gotten, seems unrelated, but will be related. I had gotten worms from something.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I don't know what I was expecting to hear you say, but it wasn't worms.
So I had to take some of this medication, to kill the worms. Okay, so I said that.
It's not funny. I know a lot of people, but it's funny.
Well, you're a kid and you just get random
worms.
shit.
Yeah,
It's
it's disgusting. Yeah.
You're
No,
sure,
it happens.
okay.
Yeah.
There's some bugs in me.
So anyways, I'm in the 4th grade. And 4th or 5th grade, maybe 5th grade. And 5th. I was flat as a board, not even at puberty, not even close to going through puberty yet, really. It was a couple more years before that started happening. I got up to go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom, and it was red in the toilet. And I was like, I've gotten oh my God, I got my period. Oh my God. And my mom was out of town.
Oh no.
And I was just staying with Alicia's family. And I went into the classroom and I pulled my teacher aside and I'm like, I just got my period for the first time. And she goes, okay, but you go down to the nurse's office. So I went down to the nurse's office and she called my mom to let her know. And then she was like, here are pads and here are tampons. Which do you want to use? And I was
give
like,
a 4th grader a tampon?
Yeah, don't give that option.
Well, but my mom used tampons.
Yeah.
So I
Sure.
was like, okay, I think I can figure it out.
Yeah.
I think whatever. So I tried to I was in the bathroom and she was like, sometimes it helps to put your leg up on the, on the toilet or whatever to
Oh my God.
get for easy access. So I was like, okay. So I tried, and then it only got like halfway in, and I was like, okay, like that didn't work.
Yeah,
and she goes, you have to push it until the applicator's all the way in, and then you can pull the applicator out. And I go, okay. So I Michael just got up and went to the bathroom, and he came back, and now I'm gonna have to say what happened. So I put the tampon all the way up and pushed through the applicator, and it's in. And I'm like, okay. So school ends, the school day ends, and Alicia meets me out front. I'm like, I had my period today. And she was like, oh, okay. Like, wow. Like, okie dokes. Like, wow. And so then we go to her house, and I have to pee. And I'm like, oh, I think you're supposed to change. Because a couple of hours had gone by. I'm like, I think you're supposed to change it.
Right.
And I go to pull it out, and I can't pull it out. So what had happened was the medication that I had been on for the worms has a habit of turning your stool red or giving a red tinge to, like, I don't know if it was your stool or your pee or whatever, but that's what I had seen. It wasn't a period.
Yeah,
it
false
was
flag.
It was a false flag. It wasn't my period.
Your body pulled a false flag.
So essentially,
the worms pulled a false flag.
A regular sized tampon into my tiny prepubertal vagina. That was dry as a bone. So I'm sitting trying to pull this thing out.
Oh my God.
And I can't. I'm like, I am going to tear. Like, I was just like, this is not. And so I had to go like, Alicia, get your mom. And her mom, who I think her name was Rochelle, was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I got my period. I put in a tampon. I can't pull the tampon out. And she was like, well, just try a little harder. I was like, I can't. So she's like, okay, like this poor woman. I love moms who are just like, what do we do? Like, what is the solution here? And she goes, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to draw a bath, and you'll just sit in the bath because, you know, like tampons,
Smart.
The water soaks up the string and then it can like whatever. So I sat in that bathtub for like 2 hours with Rochelle sitting on the toilet next to me trying to pull this tampon out.
Oh my God.
What a hero, Mom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Finally, like 3 hours, I think it had soaked up enough water that it could, like, it wasn't
3
stuck.
hours?
It wasn't stuck to the side of my, because that's what literally had happened, is it had stuck to the side of my vagina. So once it filled up with water, it unstuck and I could pull it out. And I just was like traumatized, and then had to go tell everyone that I hadn't just gotten my period. I was like, JK, I didn't get
Don't
it.
worry, guys.
I had worms. That was what happened.
Yeah, don't worry. My stool was just red.
Yeah.
As it turns out.
You know, like it happens.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, that might be a winner.
Yeah.
That's very bad.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my God. Because I had to, it was a big deal for everyone to get like their period.
Yeah, no,
and
it's
so to
awesome.
have to like go back and be like, never mind, was like very
How many
embarrassing.
people did you tell?
A lot.
Oh yeah, because
like all of your
when you first get it,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, everybody,
I'm
look
a
at me,
woman.
I'm a woman, and like this is so cool. And, like what you don't know is that it actually fucking sucks. It's the worst day of your life. But
Yeah. And then
wow.
Oh, that hero of a mom. Just hero moms.
I want to be that for one of my child's friends. You know, just the mom who's like, you got something really fucking terrible happening to you. I'm sorry.
We're gonna be
let's
cool
figure
about
it
this.
out.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be calm.
She's great because there are moms who would be like, you need to go home. I'm sorry, I can't help you with this.
And then I called my mom and I was like, and then that was when she was like, you know what? I remember the thing about the medicine has a habit.
We're gonna
of doing
send
that.
a gift basket to Rochelle's mom.
Oh my God. I just, and then what's so funny is because I had probably in the 4th grade, I'd gotten the Karen Keeping of You, that American Girl book that told you all about your body and all about your cleanliness and how like puberty works and all that. And so I read it cover to cover and absorbed it and knew a lot about periods. So then anyway, after this whole like non-period debacle, I remember one of the popular girls came up to me in like the 5th grade and she was like, Katie, Sasha would like to see you. And Sasha was the really
Come into
popular
her office.
girl.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been summoned.
And so they took me to her. And Sasha was like, I just got my period. What do I do? And because Sasha had developed early and she like, what, you know.
Right.
And she had her period. And I was like, okay, so this is like what, you know, you need to do. And I was like able to be there for her.
Wow.
You were able to be Rochelle's mom.
Yeah. And then it was another 3 years before I got my period.
Yeah.
And then I just continually bled through my tampons onto my pants in middle school for like 3 years.
It takes a while to figure out.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
Hydrogen peroxide, guys. Put hydrogen peroxide on your blood stains.
Okay.
and then rinse them and then wash, and it gets it out of underpants.
So you don't just panic and throw them away like I do?
No, or just wash them but keep them stained and only wear them when you're on your period.
You do keep the period panties.
Yeah, you're like those.
No one's gonna see me in these.
Yeah. Yay!
Wow. Well, that was a beautiful one to end on. I think.
Wow. That was
like my face is wet. I think from sweat and a little bit of tears.
Embarrassing sweat, like you're embarrassed for me.
Yeah. Oh
sweating.
yeah. That was
panic.
That was thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
I almost said a delight, but that's not the right word.
No, that was awful, but thank you.
But it has been a delight having you on this show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
good
having
seeing
me.
you, buddy.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah,
Yes.
tell everyone where they can find you, what you're up to.
I am on Twitter and Instagram at KA Willert. So pretty much anything I'm doing, you can find me there. And watch the People's Choice Awards on E! Because I'm producing for their red carpet coverage.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, so check that out. And you can find this podcast on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Rough Stuff Pod, and me on Twitter at Bridget Tweets.
And I'm at SK_Griffith. And can we put some of this on
Yeah,
some
if
rough
we can
stuff?
rip it, let's do it.
Oh, we're going to rip it, flip it, and reverse it. This is for sure going online.
Yeah, so definitely look out for those. Thank you again to Katie Willert. It's been a delight. That's it.
Yay!
Bye.